But
mob rule
then
and
that
control.
period of the 90s where, oligarchs ruled everything, they liked Western liberalism, but now there's backlash, right? And now they want to revive the Soviet Union in Russia. I mean, Stalin is the most popular figure in Russia, and they, literally want to go back to the Soviet Union.
Really?
Yeah.
How is that happening? Who wants that, and what do they want exactly?
Well, I mean, if you look at polling data, Western polling data, Stalin is the number one, most popular figure. And if you talk to Russians these days, they want to go back to the days of the Soviet Union because that period of the 90s was just so horrible for the Russian people. And then Putin changed everything when he came in 2000. Russia was declining, economy was really bad, and then slowly he reindustrialized and then changed the economy for the better. And now Putin has been very good for the Russian people.
Well,
I mean,
and maybe you can speak to this, but don't most Russian people not want what modern Western values are, right?
And no, they don't.
So
I mean, they admire the West because of Hollywood and everything
of Westerns.
Yeah,
maybe?
because of the cultural power that the West has, but they are completely against Western liberal values. In fact, there was a bill that was just passed where they expanded the anti-LGBT law that they had. And this was, across the board, every party agreed with it. They were like, no, we're not going to have this LGBT gender ideology propaganda in Russia. That's for the West. Mm-hmm. So it's hardening them even more. So
I saw an interview with Putin, with a bunch of college kids, and they were like, you could see they wanted him to be like, yes, we are now a liberal democracy, but he wasn't. He was staying hard. And then they were like, Senor, or whatever they called him, Putin, what should I do as a man in Russia? And Putin was like, you should learn to cook. And he was like, ha, ha, ha. Everyone laughs. He's like, no, as a real man, a Russian man, there's like this misogynist energy behind it all. And that stood out to me, that there's this intense like misogyny in the Russian, in that guy. And Putin still was like, no, you should learn to cook because the economy is about to go to crap. He didn't say that part, but that's what he was saying. It's like,
it's a very macho culture. I mean, I've been to Moscow, and then you see it in the UFC as well. Look at how all of the Russian fighters and everything, they're doing really, really well. They're dominating the MMA world. And that's part of their culture. Men should be men and women should be women. Women embrace their femininity. They don't reject it, and they don't try to be more masculine. Like, it is here.
When you were saying that people want to bring back the Soviet Union, do they know what they want, or is it just that they want something better than what they have and they're looking at?
It's actually older Russians that experienced the Soviet Union that want it back the most. So it's interesting because it's the opposite, right? Because in the U.S. you have young millennials that are more socialist, and then the older people here, they're like anti-socialist, anti-communist. But in Russia, younger people, they're more into liberal values. But then the older people who experience communism, they want the Soviet Union back. So it's like the complete opposite.
Is this derived through polls and things? Or
polls, yeah, mostly through polls. And then, I don't necessarily go with like lived experiences, but that was my experience in Russia as well.
How long did you live in Russia?
I was there for a month. I was there for work, but it was a enlightening experience because it killed whatever progressivism and leftism I had in me. Because it was a totally different culture. I'd never really gone elsewhere aside from, like Western Europe. So it's a very anti-progressive, anti-woke culture. I mean, it's pretty much built in. It's very interesting going to Russia.
You said it killed the wokeism out of you, or like
whatever progressivism I had inside of me, from like the Bernie days, it was just completely gone. I became more politically incorrect